The annual rate of inflation in Australia has increased during August to 5.2%, lifted higher by petrol prices, which jumped 9.1% during the month. Joining me now is Westpac senior economist Matt Hassan. Matt, economists were expecting this increase, but there are not really any surprises here today.
So I think, firstly, the economists had marked up some of their expectations for inflation near term, partly on that fuel price rise that we've seen over the last couple of months. So the number on the day was in line with expectations, but it wouldn't have been that favourable from the RBA's point of view. I'm pretty sure they would like to see inflation.
They want to see inflation
with a 4 handle on it, right? I'm not a 5 handle. And there's some details here that are a little bit unsettling. Yes, there are some temporary things in there like fuel. And there are some promising improvements happening around housing costs, in particular for newly constructed dwellings. And that's an important one for sort of driving core inflation over time. But against that, there are some negatives. You know, the number today was actually held back by a significant increase in rebates for electricity. Electricity costs declined in the month, but really that delays some of that surge in electricity costs. It means it'll come through more so in the next few months and into 2024. And the other thing that will be a little bit unsettling is that the core measure here is stuck at 5.6.
That's high.
It probably should have caught up a bit more to where the headline is, been around 5, maybe dipping slightly below. So there are maybe some hints there that the core side of things is not quite following through in the way the headline has been. For the RBA, this indicator's of some interest, but what they'll really be interested in is the September quarter detailed CPI report.
I think that comes out on the 25th of October.
Yep.
So if that is higher or stickier, I think is the word a lot of people use, would that potentially result in another interest rate rise in November?
Look, it's probably not enough to get the RBA across the line of another rate rise. Certainly they've shifted off the month-to-month sort of case-by-case approach to policy that we saw for much of the year. The April pause and then the May hike was really keying off these monthly indicators. Once we get the September quarter wash up, as long as it's still sort of broadly tracking in line with their forecast, it's probably not enough on its own to unsettle the bank, particularly given the signs we have around weak consumer spending and some tentative signs of slack emerging around the labour market. It is a quarter-to-quarter proposition for policy at the moment rather than month-to-month.
And Matt, I know you've got the Westpac Card Tracker Index out today. What's this showing us right now?
Well, it is starting to show consumers maybe starting to come out of their shells.
Right, spending again.
Yeah, that's right. We have data up until late September now. That's most recent.
We can see it's on a bit of an upwards trajectory.
That's right, and you can sort of see the growth rate over the last few months has started to pick up again to around 1%. Close to 2% a quarter. It's now 15 weeks since we had the last rate hike. So that sort of constant hit from higher interest rates and the mortgage belt has disappeared. And I think we're starting to see some stabilisation come through. Even though we're getting gains, a lot of that's being eaten up by higher prices. A lot of that will still reflect population growth rather than an increase in spending on a per capita basis. But there are signs of life starting to emerge. And from the RBA's point of view, if this were to accelerate from here, it would be something that wouldn't be desirable.
Matt, thanks very much. We're out of time.